hello to everyone. So, as usual, before we go anywhere, I wonder if the mic is working. It always seems to me that I test it out, I can hear everything fine, and then somebody in the crowd is like, I can only hear from one ear. I'm like, damn it. So, yeah, let me know if you can hear the audio, if you can hear me. And we can get right into talking about weird, creepy stuff that you get from my channel. Um, Prior to this, I had like 3-4 hour long session. It was amazing. There's a lot of spiritual topics, a lot about relationships, love triangles, all of these little things that get in the way that, for some people it's like requiring love and, like how do you manage time and priorities, and for others it's like, alien love bite and a whole lot more. So just like finding someone you love, is it the real thing? Is it a distraction? Is it like someone's planned out thing to hurt your feelings, to kick you off the throne that you were on for a while? What the hell? A lot of little things. So yeah, it's like, and before even getting to the stream, I thought like, like, been talking a lot of sessions and everything else went great, and I'm like, okay, talk so much, my throat's hurting, so maybe I should play a little game and just chit chat, make it light, do a little Q&A from there. But oopsie, a few games I'm trying, like I'm like, okay, like this Animal Shelter Simulator seems like a nice enough light game, but it's taking a little while to set everything up, and like having a second screen would be nice instead of the big ass TV monitor that I'd have to turn my head like that. So anyway, future things to solve. So it's between Animal Shelter and Elden's Ring, and then if I get into the Elden's Ring, it's gonna be me playing games for like all night long and not even answering a single question, or maybe, hopefully, if I can get out of the game. So yeah, I don't know, I've been all over the place, so don't really have anything specific I want to talk about, but just like, hey, everyone, I'm kind of back into streaming, and hopefully we're gonna make it a more common thing, except better, giving more quality and providing for you. But up until then, hey everybody, thank you for showing up. C-Dub, Jess, Waves, it's been a while since I've seen you, buddy. Lillian, Nika, hey! It's good to see you. Oh my. Wow, how are you doing? How are things where you are? And I don't know, it's been a few months since we talked. So, all these crazy things happening in the world, what's up on your side? Do I play video games with subscribers? That's exactly a thing I was looking at a few days ago. I was considering it. I'm a gamer in the way that I like to play everything, so I try a bit of this and that. Casually, I'm not good at it or anything, but I thought like, what kind of games could we play together? Because Minecraft is a bit like, I don't know. Maybe we could have our own server, but like, eh. And then I was looking at possible games we could play together where people would, I don't know. Let's see. Some people like could be in the server, could be part of the game. We could have like an audio chat of, I don't know, like 10 people. Like I was looking at the thing called Tribes of Midgard. I might even find it on Steam. It's a little over the top Viking game, kind of protect the throne and everything else. Let's see. Oh shit, a lot of audio. Okay, hold up, people. Let's see. What can we get for ya? You're gonna get the lovely. Never mind. Hold up. It's been so long since I've used it, so we're just gonna go with, I don't know. Hold up. Setting things up to show you something. Great. Just being casually slow at learning this. Let's see. Window capture should be this one. Oh, okay. We can use this one. Let's see. I should have Steam somewhere. Yay, Steam. But it's all black. Never mind. It's gonna take too long, or is it? Or can we do... Types of Midgard. Come on. Gameplay. There we go, we might watch a video together. Yay! We're gonna feel like a family doing something. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna show up or not, but we can try, or just display capture. Easier. Okay, you should be able to hold up. There we go. Whoa. Okay, so this is a little Tribes of Midgard game that I thought we could play. Over the top survival thingy, beat up monsters and kick ass. This is the latest thing I looked at. So basically, if we play, this would have like up to 10 people. So I could play with 9 of you maybe. You could have live chat up about different things while beating up some monsters or trying to survive the night. But it's for those like that do play games. I have no idea. Like, the community here that we have is like, I see people between their 20s and 70s, and it's like, whoa, we have a lot of people, different ages, different interests, different things they want to do. So, yep. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Hello, I'm back. So, yeah. Maybe play video games, maybe do something else together. Who the hell knows? Anyway. If you have any suggestions for playing games with subscribers, we can try it sometime in the future. But apart from that, I don't know. Like, I'm more into Q&A, but I haven't experienced or experimented enough. C-Dub is also asking, have you visited me before, or was it an entity impersonating you? Okay, yeah, it's definitely an impersonator. Yeah, I was doing some sessions on myself lately, and even today's like 3-4 hour long session included the part that there's a lot of dark stuff going on with parts of being clones, or, you know, people just trying to use the image. It's like that energy signature. So let's say, as a person, you're trying to do stuff in life, and other beings will try to imitate you and leave a negative example to certain groups or beings. So now you have more weird rumors or people thinking negatively about you. You haven't done anything, but someone else used their spiritual signature, your image, and all of a sudden is creating reputation for you out there. And of course, it's not really good. And then people will react to that. They might not like what you did, but more like what that fake part of you did. And all of a sudden, you're gonna get the outcome of people's energy work to cut ties with you or to get you back. You know how over here a lot of people are like, oh, this entity or this reptilian hurt me, so I'm gonna hurt them back. Like, I've did it before, but there's a lot of people who are like into eye for an eye. They hurt me, I'm gonna hurt them back, and we want to fight. So if there is a part of you, like a clone, another body that has your energy, your spiritual signature used in a way, then it's just like, if that part of you does something to someone else, and that part of you pisses someone else off, they will try to get you back, but it's gonna like be connected to this body here, and you're gonna have your energy drained, you're gonna have some various attacks in life, you're gonna have more entities coming your way just because. So yeah, learning how to cut ties with those parts of ourselves, or even fight back in a way where disconnect, make it all clear, and make sure, you know, like, hey, I'm done, like, clear it all out. It's very important. But yeah, there's a lot of beings who are impersonating others and just trying to either leave an impression, gain one's trust, and then try to mess them up or do other things. But yeah. Jamie saying, first time, Aquila. Hi to everyone. Well, hello to you too. Thanks for watching. Nika's saying, it's a bit weird here, but things have cooled down a bit, and I'm just watching the world go mad from sidelines. Yep. How's my kitten? It's actually my brother's cat. He got it a few months ago, or I think on April or May, somewhere there, probably May. So I once in a while go visit, say hello to the cat and get to play, but I actually have a puppy over there sleeping cutely. So, anyway. Aring asking, do you know about Forever Consciousness Research Channel? You must at this point. I've heard of them, I've subscribed, I haven't watched a single video to be honest. I wish I would consume more spiritual content and hear different aspects. And it will sound like an excuse, but I just have other priorities in life, and sadly, I don't get educated or I don't hear other people's points of view on similar subjects. So I might be losing out a lot, but hey, if you have some of your favorite videos from over there, feel free to send me an email with links. I might give it a go, watch some videos, do a reaction video, or maybe learn, hey, look, I've been wrong. Yay, I can change my mindset. Speaking of which, I will have a video coming up about my probably worst lie to all of you, but just because my point of view is changing, and that's about the soul. And still have to get a whole lot more clarity. When we talk about, mind, body, spirit, and the whole matrix 3D construct and how we're limited by all of that, but all that it is, it's, our creation, one way or the other. And if we identify with the body, I am a human being, that's already putting ourselves in this prison. I am a girl, I am a guy, putting ourselves in the other identity prison. And then we talk about age and the groups and, a lot of labels we can put onto ourselves, I'm a gamer, I'm a, starseed, I'm something else. It's just, again, labels. And instead of, as a consciousness, who's infinite, who is free, who is everything and nothing all at once, we start identifying with very, very specific things and living with it for long enough to forget who we truly are. And that is one of the biggest and hardest things that limits us and puts us into this prison of, physical universe or the mind or our understanding. And the mind is another thing. Our beliefs, everything we focus on, everything, is that reactive mind where, oh, inflation, oh, we have to, pay the bills and survive and get the food on the table and tons of other things, and then worry, trying to cover the basic needs to survive. But then besides that, people who live in countries that are doing way better economically, and I'm being part of it, a lot of people, instead of having real hardcore life issues with nothing to drink, no roof over their head and everything else, will have emotional problems. So we go into depression, we go into anxiety, we go into frustrations and everything else, and that's a whole thing. But the biggest mistake I've made, or the belief I've had for a very long time, that I will have to work around, I don't know how to say it properly, because again, you people will be watching me, and then one thing, I'm tired, so I'm not going to speak clearly, in the beginning, I'm sorry for that. Second, English is my second language, so I'm already having a hard time expressing myself. Thirdly, I am way better at visualizing and experiencing things, but putting it in words is so freaking hard, so it usually never comes out the way I want it. I'll be lucky if people totally get the meaning or the idea that I clearly have in mind, but that's usually not the case, not the scenario. So it's a bit hard. And my mentor, Kimberly McGeorge, I work with her, and I love her so much because I can talk to her, or I can just be there, and she just sees me and she knows absolutely everything about me, just because spiritually we're so connected that we don't have to talk. I don't have to put things in words and explain things, because she's going to look me into my eyes and know exactly what I have in mind and be able to tell it in her own words. And I'm yes, finally someone gets it. So for me, it's a lot of times And when I think about it, like that appreciation makes me want to cry, just because like I have one person in this world that totally gets it, totally, without me having to worry about putting it in words and trying to explain myself. It's like someone gets it. And I don't know, like for anyone to have a person like that in their life where you can truly be yourself and you can talk about anything and be fully understood and accepted because of that is so important. So, okay, great. Coming to the soul, and my biggest lie to you yet, just because recently I'm like switching my beliefs about it, and what I'm learning, soul is trap as well. Our soul is probably the biggest trap lately that we believe in. And by that is, as a consciousness, like consciousness, it doesn't have a shape or form. It is infinite. It is everything. And it is hard to explain what it is and to define it in a few simple words that would, everyone's like, yay. But it's basically point of view. Like right now, you look around. Your eyes are seeing things. If you have visuals, that would be great. Visuals being, okay, you see what's in front of you. You have the sight. The physical world over there is what you perceive. So that is your point of view. Consciousness as well has the perception. So it's not only seeing, it is also what you hear, what you taste, and everything else. But it is limiting because we usually attach these things to this physical world. And if we experience the same in a dream, we call it a dream instead of real world, even though it's like the same. And it's hard to explain these things, but we create everything. And the soul is the biggest trap because it's limiting. Soul can be trapped as, soul traps. Wes Perry talks about it. I talked about it a lot of times. I've seen it. And here's another thing, the truth. What is the truth? For everyone, it is their own belief. And if you would see a ghost, clearly, walking, or a ghost, an entity, a weird creature right in front of you, and you would experience it, like you would feel maybe intense fear, you would be creeped out, maybe. You might just see it completely there, sense its energy, perceive it fully. And then it disappears. But that was your real experience. And you would go through looking at, do you have any chemicals inside your house that could cause hallucinations? Do you have anything, the medications you're taking that could cause hallucinations? Do you have anything that would cause it? Was it a sleep paralysis? And you go through all of these things that we would have to prove scientifically to people that I've seen stuff that should not exist. And then it would be your experience, it would be your reality. No one else would believe you. They couldn't see it. For them, it's just a story you told, and for them, like, you would have to prove it, but to you, you saw it, and it was real as can be. And you felt it, you've sensed it. There's a lot of people who are sort of, say that they have schizophrenia. It's a huge thing, and I'm not a doctor, and I'm not supposed to talk like this, but I think it's way beyond what the labels we put are there. It's people perceiving stuff, having perception that goes beyond what our human senses are capable or should pick up. And it's like having a radio channel on a dial of a frequency, and depending on which frequency you are on, you're going to pick up a different radio channel, so you're going to have a different thing. Now you put two different channel, like radio stations, or like two different radios, you can tune in to two different radio stations all at once. So you start more perception. And you can have 10, like you can have your phone on the radio, you can have your PC on the radio and something else, and it's all a part of what you can perceive. So our consciousness, depending on which frequency we tune in, is what we're going to perceive. And some people are just on a whole different frequency, for a moment maybe, so they will start seeing, hearing, and having a whole different perception than what we would consider normal. And the same thing goes with the soul, is where considering that for some people, like, oh, well, the soul is what gives this body a life, so it's like part of us. And then the soul is what leaves the body when the physical body dies. But it's not. It doesn't go anywhere. It's not a thing. It's your consciousness, your perception. Right now, you are used to this physical body. And if you would be using virtual reality headset and you would be playing a game, your perception would be very different. Some of you might have seen videos where people would play a game where they're on a skyscraper and they're literally at home, they have this wooden board and they would be all shaky. Because their reality they're perceiving at that moment, because they're using a virtual reality headset, is so very different that their brain catches a whole different senses and they literally fall from the board. They get scared, they have panic attacks, they have like very different reactions. And that's very important because the way we understand reality is hard to explain. It's hard to define because all we go is by labels of someone that said it is normal, and everyone else accepts it and considers this is the thing and that's the only thing. And if it doesn't fit in the normal section, then you're crazy, and then you're gonna have a lot of labels of, you know, you're schizophrenic, you're mad, you have bipolar disorders, you know, whatever. And these people are like being quieted, shushed down, like have tons of pills shoved through their throat, and said like, you know, shut the hell up and don't talk about those things. But I think we should explore more, get a better understanding. Of course, good luck. I'm just to most people, a crazy girl without a degree, without clear medical understanding, telling weird stories. So whatever, you know. And I don't know how to get to that subject, but I'm dropping the subject of a soul because it's limiting. It's another identification. It's another label. It's another thing that we put ourselves that limits us. It's not just the physical body anymore. It's not just dropping dead. It's that people believe that after they drop dead, they, as a soul, will leave the body. And consciousness, like that frequency, can simply tune into another reality and start living there and start creating something new. But because we identify as, you know, we have a soul, then it's like a body within a body. And after physical body drops dead, most people believe that being stuck to that soul body, you know, like just like whatever that essence is, however they see that, they're just gonna leave, fly around. Maybe if they heard about West Penry, they're gonna think about, okay, you know, Earth has great holes and we have to get through them and it's like really hard and everything else. So stories limit us. Soul, you know, like, oh, well, soul can be trapped. If soul goes into the white light, it's gonna be trapped. If soul gets into some trap, it's gonna be trapped and everything else. Those are all real because we believe in it. And every belief is true and profound to everyone that buys into it. And to say it's not true to someone who tunes in into certain frequency and experience that is, you know, like, hey, for them it's real. They tuned into that thing, they saw it, they experienced it, for them it is real. So I really try not to make anyone feel wrong and bad because of what they believe in. And I might be doing a pretty bad job as regards vaccination and the whole pandemic thing, or the whole woke movement, but when it comes to spiritual community and a whole of those people being divided, oh, that person is fake, it's a scam, the story they shared is like complete crap and is like false and everything else, and they're gonna crap on anyone else. So we have tons of these communities, spiritual communities, that would have the same goal: wake up, help out people, connect, you know, all of this like spiritual awakening and getting better and self-betterment and education and trying to understand reality, except we can't allow anyone else to agree to disagree. We can't allow anyone else to have a different belief than we do, because now we are right, they're wrong because I believe in it and I have a bit different understanding than they do and they don't get it, so they're wrong. And all of these communities, they have this in common. They're divided, they fight each other. And that's like, you know, to all of you, it's just my perspective. It is just what I talk about, how I see reality, and it's subjective. This is my truth, my personal truth. This is what exists to me. How you see things is up to you. What you believe in is up to you. If we, you know, like there's the whole personal reality, personal beliefs, you creating everything. And then there's the whole, you know, common creation and, you know, like all of that. And, you know, good luck. If I could, like, if I wasn't as tired and if I could remember the right words for it, that would be great. But I'm not in the best shape, so I'm sorry for that. But anyway, like, yeah, you know, the reason I don't watch a lot of the videos on these other channels, like even the what was it? Forever Conscious Research Channel and others, even Swaru and others, is because while they do have great information, while they are right about what they believe in, the community itself is dividing others. And it's like, I'm glad they're able to talk about what's important to them. I'm glad they're able to share their truth. But at the same time, it's like what they perceive is their reality, and they will not allow anyone else's experience to be real. Knowing that, depending on which frequency you are living at and with, is what you're going to experience. So let's say Wes Penry sees, grid around Earth. He would see soul or soul shattering into lots of fragments, and now we fracture in tons of different aspects and what's going to happen to them. And then we have soul traps, and I've talked about them. But literally, you would have an out-of-body experience. You would have a dream. You would have astral projection. And depending what you tune into and what you choose to create or what you sort of get, it's there and it's real. But that's just one possibility out of billions and gazillions. And it's all real and it's all true, depending on what you tune into. All of these different realities, all of these different experiences, all of these different traps and limits, and also good things and bad things, it's all real. And we create it all, but we can choose what we want to believe in, what we want to tune into. And I talk about soul traps and other things, and to some people it is scary, but I try to talk about it in the way what it seems to me like that I talk about. And it is really good to have knowledge about possibilities of these things so that we could find ways to avoid it happening. Certain people, doing past life regression, they will recall events and they will remember that certain things happened to them. They might have gotten into a soul trap, they might have met reptilians, they might have had some other weird thing with entities and aliens, and then they ended up here. And all of these experiences, no matter how you look at it, is real for that person. You don't have to believe in it. But then we're like, okay, well, if it's a possibility, how do we avoid that? How do we deal with that? So we have a lot of these, okay, here's what's possible. But what are you going to deal with? It's all up to you and what you believe in. And so I think soul, the whole concept of soul hasn't been explored enough, but it's just as limiting as the whole concept of karma and as the whole thing of labeling us who we are. And soul is just another body that can be, by our beliefs, used to trap us if we believe in that as well. And it's a huge concept. I would need to explore it more, find other words to talk about the same thing, share it differently tons of times, until I'm okay, I think I understand the thing myself, where I'm right or wrong, but I can share it in a way that I think would be maybe liberating to some. Because I like the word consciousness or point of awareness, because that is complete perception. And that is all I get, let's say, with that whole out-of-body, astral traveling, recalling past lives, looking into someone else's or my past and everything else. I'm always the point of awareness. I can get the body if I want to, but it doesn't feel good. But a point of awareness is just looking at what's going on, depending on specific situation, time and place and everything else, and good luck explaining it all. So it's always the point of awareness. And we can choose to have a body and start playing a godlike being, wanting to play and, creating the world, creating the reality, creating the universe, and then creating civilization or some beings in there, and then the body, and the whole being itself wants to play in that body, and we just have so many little things. So yeah, it's a huge concept, and maybe in the future, if I have a better way to explain it, I will. But soul, it's another biggest trap, and all of these things are used against us. I mean, so many stories. What do we believe in? What do we see and everything else? It's a lot, but that's my truth right now. I'm understanding that a lot of what I believed in, well, a lot, like specifically as regards soul, for as long as I've been into spiritual stuff, that's been probably one of the most limiting beliefs. While I was like going for it, I'm like, yeah, it's exactly the thing. And, like, need to explore more of that. See what's up. So anyway, I'm just reading comments and what you're all saying. The Matt saying, yeah, my point of view is changing as well, and that's why I'm hesitant to make videos. Right? Like our whole life, we're like learning, changing our point of view and how we understand things. So the things we say 10 years ago are not like, okay, that I've been wrong. Like my point of view and my beliefs changed by then. So it's definitely a thing. Like for me, like, I'm definitely going to have to make quite a few videos once I have a better understanding of the whole concept and a way to talk about it. I definitely want to talk about, like, hey, I think I not necessarily messed up, but, definitely changed my point of view. And like, so let's say a person like me, like, lived most of their lives believing in a soul and everything else and how it's a huge thing. And now I'm like, no, it's crap. It's just another thing that keeps us stuck in this matrix construct that we are manifesting all the time and everything else. And then if I change my point of view, but by now I've been on YouTube for like 3 years or 4, 3 probably, and tons of people might have heard my point of view and they had a different understanding, so they didn't agree with me. So on their channel and in different communities they have dissed me, and by now I have changed my belief, and people are like, oh no, Aquila is like has all wrong beliefs and everything else. But by now I changed everything. Like the way I understand life and everything else, I've changed. So all these people are gonna consider me being bad, wrong, crazy, having fake news, fake information, limiting beliefs, trolling that community and everything else, starting a cult. And I'm like, hi, I have a whole different thing I'm going to talk about, and I know like my beliefs changed. So like a lot of people will not even want to hear it because of what someone told them and everything else. So like it's another thing, like people are stuck with the beliefs they have, and they're not, like some people, and they're not really into changing or even allowing others to be wrong, or not necessarily wrong. Like they're just experiencing reality with the understanding they have currently, and it might change at any point in time. And we're like so fast and quick to judge and say how they're wrong and how they're full of crap, and then we're not even giving them a chance to, like, hey, well, right now our beliefs are different, but maybe as time goes by we both will learn different things and both of our beliefs will change, and things we've been saying are not valid anymore. But the things we've said and others bought into and all, that's a whole other thing. Anyway, just babbling here. So yeah. So here's a little comment. I feel I tried creating my own reality, but my focus sucks, I guess. Last night I was in bed and trying to focus on creating my own family and planet. I had a dream, but it didn't seem to relate to it at all. And I think that there might be archons or something like that putting me in a dreamscape. Okay, yeah, one is controlling your mind, what you're gonna look at and all. Because let's say people are gonna go to bed. So one thing, what kind of day have you had? Are you tired when you go to bed? Are you all exhausted and you're just like, oh, finally hit the sack, like you get to rest, you get it like fresh, like breath, you're like, okay, finally, like at that point of letting everything go. And if you're in that moment, then your body is freaking exhausted and all you can think about is getting some rest, or should focus on. And then our mind can wander into, hey, tomorrow I've got to get this done, or today I didn't do it. Or maybe you look through the day and scan things that you have done and could have done differently, could have said differently. So you go through everything, and then possible what ifs or planning tomorrow and everything else. So it's all over the place. But that's one thing that keeps us more, let's say, stuck to this place, just because we focus on it. And two, if you've had a really hard long day, and to your own standards, like everyone's different, then to you to start shifting your mind or trying to create, it's not going to be such a full job. Let's say the results you can get when you are, tired and exhausted and you've had a long day and you're really feeling crappy, you're going to get like that. If you're just woke up, you're full of energy, you're fresh, you maybe had your coffee, you maybe had your cocoa or tea or water, you worked out, you're just bursting with energy and ideas and enthusiasm, the results you're going to get doing the same technique is much bigger. So if you are, creating your reality after a long day of things happening, and it can be just hey, you might have had an argument with a person, but you try to focus on creating something, and while you're focusing on creating a certain reality, you're bringing in your physical thoughts and subconscious things in the background into your creation. Life is hard. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Yes, it was a hard day. And, that's my family. And they're loving. So nice. And then you fall asleep. And then you dream. And your dream concludes the nice family that you thought of before bed and all the hard stuff that you've experienced and thought of or have felt. So our realm creation, from my point of view, would be much better if we do it when we are energized. We're trying to get out of body at night when we're tired. No, you're gonna be sticking to your freaking body because you're tired and you want to rest and you want to disconnect from this world. And getting out of body means you're gonna be awake, you're gonna be having adventures, you're gonna be doing stuff. If you're tired, you don't want to get out. You believe you want to get out, you wish for it, but hell, if you've had a long day after school, after work, and a lot of stuff from here, and then you're end up in the war zone in your out of body experience, you don't want that to happen. Most people will be fuck that crap, it's too much. And so you want to let go, and that's why most people will not get out of body or have more of these experiences. And it's just one out of many reasons why, but just that tiredness and the day we go through and the experiences and the story we tell ourselves about the life. Let's say relationships and the cliches and the idioms and all those little things, all men are pigs, or girls are gold diggers, or something else. We have certain beliefs, or we're trying to get into a relationship and we're worrying about being cheated on. So the worry about being cheated on creates a possibility of that happening already. And lots of things will go through your world, but also you have to survive, you have to make money, you have to take care of yourself and everything else. And all these things from the background adds on what you're going to create. So good luck creating a nice world and focusing on it when so many things happen in the background. And so taking a time, maybe in the morning, if you're waking up and you're feeling better, if you have some rest, if you took care of yourself first, then you can spend 5 minutes or less daydreaming, focusing on creating your realm, and that would be great because now you're creating that with a whole different energy. But if we're doing that from tired, a lot of things happen throughout the day, you've had an incident and you're focusing on that, various aches and pains, so you will create your dream reality and put some words in there in intention, but you're also bringing the whole baggage that has happened throughout the day or the week. And so, we don't necessarily get what we want. So yeah, good luck. Good luck focusing and getting the right reality when you might carry a whole lot of things in the background. So the only thing that I would change from my point of view is first, take care of the most present problems. Let's say you're trying to create a reality focus on the realm or do something in life really, but you've parked the car in a place where you might get a ticket. So while you're focusing, most of your attention actually going to the car and am I going to get a ticket? Damn it. So you can't do anything until you go and get your car parked elsewhere or pay for the parking and make sure you don't get the fine. And you're okay, now that's done. I can focus on whatever. If something else is in the background, then, it's going to get in our way. So the story we tell ourselves, every single thing we think of, we believe in, we feel is going to be part of our creation. And we start writing the story from the moment we wake up, our eyes open up in the morning, you start writing the story. How do you feel about the day? Well, it's a nice morning and you stretch and, it's raining outside. kind of want to stay in bed and sleep all day because rain associates with sleep and bed, like, so, like, go with your day and look at the story you tell yourself all the time. And if you switch your story and what you believe in, and it's the whole good luck, because a lot of people will be like, I don't want to lie to myself. I don't feel like I woke up feeling great, but Aquila is telling me to believe I woke up feeling great. And that's the game. Practicing, not necessarily lying to yourself, but good luck defining it, but writing that story in a way where you get more wins, you get more positivity, you get more good things. Not that you want to get them, but creating your future as your past and everything else, and so much more into it. Anyway, Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, there's the other guy, Neville Goddard. A lot of people have way better ways of sharing little concepts I have, and I'm just re-saying some of their words in different ways, way worse than they do. So yeah, just go to the real good people that have a way better concept of it all. Anyway, so just taking my time to read some comments. Seed Up saying, how can I talk with you on a video chat? I usually do the Zoom things. Some people do or want to do Telegram thingies with me, so it's a possibility. Just write me an email, we can think of something. So yeah, Riley Reid is saying, any insights on the rapid advancing of AI, how it mimics humanity via analyzing data of humans via internet, and how do we move without feeding it? Okay, so rapid advancing of AI. If we're talking the stuff on Earth, then we barely know anything about the D-Wave computer or what certain organizations, groups, or governments are doing with the technology they have that they don't really talk about that much. So let's say public knowledge is just scratching the surface of possibilities and what they have. Like, okay, so we get to see Boston Dynamics little robots where, like it's a dog and it has a gun and it can shoot now and everything else. Oh wow, an amazing war thing. Yay, an army will like it. We don't have to send humans into the slaughterhouse now. Yeah, right? Not really. So that's one thing. But everything on the internet right now, like TikTok and let's say Instagram, Facebook, and every social media platform has a very easy access into our lives and our, per like privacy and everything we do. It's like people go watch Netflix. So what movies do you watch? What kind of things do you like? What kind of things do you search on your, let's say Google or DuckDuckGo or other places? And some people will, let's look at the most simple, Pornhub. Sometimes they do those yearly statistics of what was the most popular thing, what countries watched what, and like the recent, or like not recent, but the year's hottest things and everything else. And while most people are just like jerking off, having fun, watching stuff, information about people is being gathered right there. And then, like, okay, so this is what people like. How can we give more to that and just do the whole consumerism? And that's just, porn industry, and sex sells like crazy, better than drugs, I guess. And then, like, of course, movies, what do people like? If stuff wasn't good, people wouldn't buy it. Like the whole gaming industry, like, oh, this game sucks, and let's say Rockstar messed up with the GTA Trilogy remaster, we're not gonna buy it. And there's tons of people that buy it, and it's like, yep, was worth it. They didn't spend that much time like polishing the product, but it was worth it. So data about people is being gathered all the time, and we should look at like, okay, we know that certain groups and corporations collect that data and they sell it, and this is how me knowing barely anything about it all, you talk about certain things, you Google just once, oh, like I want to buy a nice purse or something, or I want to find a job related to this. One search, boom, ads everywhere. You talk about it, boom, ads everywhere. So that alone is a thing. But now we have, let's say, D-Wave computers or other things connected where they can collect all this data. And what if it's being fed to the AI? That gets the AI, the machine learning, gets to see every possible processing and collecting information and just sort of think of all the capabilities. Like that Elon Musk OpenAI, I think was it called, where just like literally in a game of Defend of the Ancients 2, Dota 2, it watched people play and like didn't understand why they do stuff, and then like they just did the code a little bit and just switched up little things to the point where the thing started like just like learning from people and seeing what they do, what they don't do, and how to survive. Because the AI had to understand, like machine learning had to understand that in order to win the game, you have to protect the base and kill the other guys. And finding every possible capability of what can I do to make that happen, and it became better than most of the pros play, like professional players. So we look at what is being shown to us, and again we're only scratching the surface. But so much of it is not being talked about and shown to us that rapid advancing of AI on Earth is a huge thing, and we don't know how much we don't know. That's a huge thing. But then there's rapid advancing of AI of Earth, and if we think that, okay, if there are other species that exist and other races that exist without only humanity, and if there is an AI, or specifically just any other race, then they already probably have existed way longer than humanity, and they already have watched life on Earth, quite likely, and they already are way more advanced than us. Then the question is, how long have they lived? How advanced are they? And we would look at, oh, we lived like, let's say historically or whatever, 2,000 years, just, like with everything we achieved so far that's been written by certain groups and individuals and accepted publicly and announced as official history. So with all that, it's like, so if we're so proud of what we achieved so far, then what are the civilizations that have lived for hundreds of thousands and millions of years way before us and, have the spaceships that come on Earth to visit us frequently? What's that? And if they have created an AI, then how long has that existed? So knowing that those things are way beyond us, of course it's going to be way more advanced. Like, we can't even comprehend how advanced they are. Like, this whole thing is a simulation, quite likely. But how do we even talk about it now? So anyway, like, it's a huge subject, and I'm talking from a perspective of, I'm just a person who is perceiving life and knows nothing about those things, except like I've been learning a little bit of programming, but that's scratching the surface and absolutely nothing to what is being out there. So what the hell? I'm just sharing my point of view. Sard is asking, is this live stream or pre-recorded? This is a live stream. Finally. Oh, Riley Rage is saying, I just discovered an app called Wonder. You type anything you want and the AI creates the image of the text. Very creepy and scary. The power of AI via having access to the entire internet instantly. Yep. So I heard this thing, and I don't know how true it is until, like, let's say if we believe in it, then it's going to be a thing. But the AI that's probably off Earth totally gets every information about us. And if we type something into internet search engines that you choose, then they're like, okay, this is what you're looking at, this is what we can create. So if you look at that possibility of the event, like let's say, oh, well, QAnon group or Donald Trump or Nancy Pelosi or someone else, like, I don't know, some people, and maybe like you hear about the death, is it a fake death or not, is it a real thing or not? So you look at the possibility, and you looking at it, thinking about it, looking into it, creates possibility, and then there's an AI that could probably make it happen. But it's a huge concept. I heard a story, I don't know much about it, haven't looked into it, but basically, yeah, just you thinking of it, like the whole Fermi paradox, everything that can happen will happen, and, like every possible thing is out there. So, yeah, like whatever you think of it is there. Swaru, or was it Sophia, says that we are in the highest level video game in the galaxy, says DMC 2007-55. So, yeah, I think the video game is our consciousness creating what we see around us. It's like people, if they were alone in the complete void, they would feel lonely. And they need something. They need that stimulus and something happening and, like people around so that they wouldn't feel like as lonely or bad or, whatever. And if a consciousness can imagine something, like a lot of people would be in that, oh, I would like to stop existing and be in that void and absolutely nothing. And you can be in that state. You can just like it's like closing your eyes and that's it. You shut it all off. But some people are like, they can't handle that. They would like that peace and love and getting away, connecting back to the source and however they understand the source and everything else. And everything you think of is possible because your consciousness creates it all. And if that is the case of your consciousness creating it all, then you are that godlike being, consciousness, that creates this never-ending video game that can have tons of possible realities and beings and everything else. And yeah, weird concept. Me with my weird things. The Andromedan is saying, hi, Kvita, the 21st century sucks. Can someone go and incarnate to another timeline? Yeah, go ahead. After you're done with this life, just pick another timeline. Like, if you're here, this moment, right here, right now, and if you chose to come here, then think about it. Like, this nexus point, this time on Earth, why? Why would you choose specifically this instead of, like, I don't know, Westerns or something else? Why? Like, you're here for a reason, Andromeda, and you've talked about, like, your people being here, your spaceship crashing here, and how you have this grand mission, and then you get depressed, you hate life, you have to deal with your own stuff, and then you want to die, and then you wanted to look at our timelines when things could have been better, but would they be better? Let's say we look at the old days, and people didn't have internet, and internet is, like, freaking awesome in a way that now, to get your voice out, let's say musicians, and specifically musicians, for example, to create a song and record it. Back then they probably didn't even have the great technology to record all those things, so they literally would have to go to a bar, play their guitar, and be really happy if 5 people heard their song. Now you record a song, upload it on YouTube, boom, a short video, you can have millions of views instantly. 1 million people will see you because of internet, because now you have a voice, because now you have an ability. How great is that? And of course, yeah, we can hate all the hard things that are happening in life. We can hate every little thing that might limit us and, get in the way. But do we ever appreciate what we have? Like, back in the day, if you would try to do the same thing, Andromedan, right now, you have access to internet and you can read tons of stories about who Andromedans are, what are, like, past lives and what happens beyond Earth and what happens after you die and everything else. So you can have some knowledge about your people. You can read about them and you're like, oh my god, I related to so much, fuck yeah. And that's great. But let's say 200 years ago, would there be that information? Could you have this access? Would you know the same stuff you know now? I really doubt it. If you are not learning to seek within, and you get all this information from now and you hate the 21st century, then you're like, you're stuck with what is given to you. And can you even have your own voice, or do you have to do what someone else dictates to you? Like, all of these things, we are not even appreciated. So, yeah, we might not have it perfect. Some of the things might be shadow banned, suppressed, and everything else, or the algorithms are working and everything else, but, you're blaming things without really looking at the good stuff. Like, for me, being a girl, that's one thing, a woman. And then we get in periods. Thank God we can use pads and various things to, like, hey, blood flow and everything else, like, yay, I'm happy and everything's tight and it's not showing up, no one's seeing it. No one can even know about it unless I tell them, or, they talk to me and everything else. So that's, like, an upside. Think about 100 years back. How would people deal with that? Like, shoving stuff, like cotton and, like, having rags and everything else, like, good luck. And people are like, I would like to go on this like island for survival and everything else. I'm like, how are you gonna do this with, like on a period without having paths? Like it would be a huge thing for me. So I freaking appreciate the 21st century and having some of the things here. And of course we like might not be happy. It's like every new generation is not happy about something, but man, am I glad about like some of the technologies and things we have now, because it wouldn't be that good back in the day. So yeah, Andromedan. I don't know. You might think this place sucks and everything else, but what you perceive in the world is just a reflection of how you're feeling inside. And I'm not perfect. I'm far from that. I know nothing. But I'm learning the self-love, and I'm learning to appreciate little things. I'm learning to get around everything else. And, I'm not a perfect example, but you should, like, definitely work on yourself. Like, a lot of your comments I see, you having depression, you hating this world and everything else, and this constant unhappiness, constant, stuff, like negative stuff out of your mouth. I hope you can find something in life that allows you to grow where, you get what you want. Just say that. Nika is asking, Aquila, from your perspective, why are we still here, trapped, even after we remember who we are and can see through the illusion? Is it because of the setup of the game we can't get out until death? I wouldn't say we can't get out until death. That would be, from my perspective, it's the massive attachment we have to this physical body and constant programming, or let's just say someone else's perception of reality that's being given onto us. And then if you think differently, then you're made to feel bad, wrong, guilty, crazy, uneducated, retarded, whatever. And so being free, all it takes, literally, is to have perception that you can allow yourself to daydream. Like the whole getting out of body, astral traveling, consciousness shifting, and everything else, it's all about working on your perception. So the physical world that we perceive, what we consider is real, what we consider, okay, this is the place, is because we can touch, feel, smell, taste, and everything else. All of these 5 senses because of our brain. Great. When you dream, you get that reality. How well does your perception work there? For some people, they have visuals, they have clear sight, but they don't really have an audio. Others can have great audio, they can hear things around, but it's completely dark. They can't see anything. So our senses are limited, and we consider that not being real. It's just like, just like weird sensation, weird kind of experience, weird perception. That's it. That's where we stop. There are those who can consciousness shift, and that's all it is. Getting out of body, astral traveling, and everything else. It's not getting out of your body and flying and becoming distant from Earth and going away and swimming in the space and everything else. It's not that. It's literally your point of view, point of awareness that I talk about. You can look around and see everything around you right now. And if you could look around, not from this body, but from somewhere else, you're out of body. You just astral traveled. This is just consciousness shifting. You just put your awareness elsewhere. Now, we live our whole life identifying with this body. Like, this is the human body. It's quite likely, science says, oh, well, the possibility of the extraterrestrials is out there, but we never seen them, we haven't heard, and blah, blah, blah. Like a lot of stories. And then the whole thing with, going to school and how we should live our lives and what you should be like, and a whole, woke movement and everything else. Tons of labels. We get so over-identified with this place. We hear so many stories of what is real and what is considered to be normal, that if you go out of the boundaries, you start doubting yourself. So first, if you are considering outside the box, not normal anymore. You're crazy. You're making shit up. You're imagining it. But if you have perception that is just as real and even realer than this, then you're out. But the thing is, how long can you stay in that place? Because if we just, let's say, daydream, and you have your perception in the other location, and you stop feeling this physical body, but you can run around in another place that you have created and imagined, and you're doing things there, then you just create reality. But we're not learning to leave this place fully because of the over attachment and the connection we have to the body. It's like people forget, like, let's say our reality here is like wearing a VR headset. And we forget that we have the headset on, so we live our whole life playing in the VR game, and then we drop dead. And then we wake up, let's say another body has a headset, we don't even realize it. So that whole perception and beliefs we have, how do we take the headset off? It's to literally release all the beliefs we have that are limiting us about the body, about reality, about how everything else works, because consciousness is everything and nothing all at once, and it's all like all our creation. So that's one part of it. But the other thing is like, yeah, okay, we woke up, we remember who we are, an infinite consciousness, and yada yada, like things we have experienced before coming here and everything else. You're still telling your story about this life, and yeah, you might hate it, you might not like this place, but you have not learned ways to detach yourself from the body. It's like you're still stuck, you're still sitting here. So that was like releasing every possible belief about this way, like about life, about how things work. Good luck with that. And there's more to it. Let's see your comment again. Trapped here even after we remember who we are, even though we can see through the illusion. I think it's just mainly beliefs. Like, yeah, even if you can have the perception of the world, even though you understand the place, can you really let go? Like Neo from Matrix says, like, there is no spoon. So how do we let go? We are holding the spoon, telling ourselves there is no spoon. How can he bend it? Because he changes the reality and everything else around him. But how do we do it? You know, like, and that's like figuring it out that, you know, you create absolutely everything. And you cannot get out of this place as long as you keep on creating it. So learning to how? You know, how do we do that? That would be another thing. Just looking at how would I stop creating this place? For me, like, it would be like that disassociation. Because like right now, okay, you know, human body and everything I have experienced from birth until this very moment, every single person I've met, everything I have read about reality, how things work and everything else, it's there. So it's kind of hard to switch beliefs. It's kind of already like in their program within. And like literally neural networking, every single thing that you have thought of that you have felt is engraved in your brain. Neural networking. So how long do you need to tell yourself a whole different story and feel something to change things? That would be one thing. Like physical body is also limitation, and just working through a lot of little things like that. Because if, you know, people are able to do amazing things just through their beliefs. So many stories about, you know, people just imagining, telling themselves a story over and over again until things happen. They just like, oh, well, look, my cancer disappeared. Oh, look, my teeth like straightened up, but I was just believing and telling myself a story that I had little gnomes in my mouth working day and night fixing it. Now all of a sudden it's straight. What the hell? So like, power of our beliefs is amazing, but as long as we believe things about this world, focusing on all these issues and everything else, even though you're trying to shut it off, you still have the story that you have heard and told yourself about this life. So good luck to letting it go. Riley's asking, like, what are your thoughts on the dead internet theory? What percentage of the internet do you think is bought in AI accounts? Good luck ever trying to find it all out. I mean, just by Twitter alone, Elon Musk kind of forcing the other side to expose that, like, it's not just 5% bots, it's quite likely more than 30, maybe? I don't know, I haven't read the whole thing. But Twitter, like the whole thing over there. So, okay, we know it's really going on. People are, just having bots to fill out information, to say certain things, to act out in certain ways, or mess up the algorithms, and just people will spend money trying to get some, sponsorship, or like not sponsorship, like more like ads, like get some more flow of income or attention and everything else, and boom, bots take all of your attention, and you don't get the people, so you end up spending more money to get out, and you just get a certain percentage. Like, we already know what's happening, but knowing how many, good luck. And like we wonder about the internet and how much of it is bots. We'll probably never know until we're given the real stats. But also people, we wonder, okay, are they real or not? Like real person, conscious person, or like NPCs? So yeah. Ryan Latib, and I hope I say your name right, is saying you're doing great. Keep up the great thought process. It seems like the astral trap is opposite, where light is bad and there is this memory compared to the sunlight here that rejuvenates life. Yeah, that's the whole trap of even how we understand things. Like the whole belief that going into the light will trap you. We're never gonna know, unless you go in there, you experience it. Like, people will tell stories, but that's their own reality. That's, so yeah, it does exist. But will you experience the same thing just because you believe in it and have heard someone else saying it? Or are you going to have a whole different thing? There are people who have gone into the light and they just got more enlightenment and connection to, how should I say it? What you believe about is what you're going to get. So if there was a person who believed, like, hey, if I get into the light, I will recall my past lives and who I was, and just connect with everything else. So everything else being, every experience that you've ever had, you're going to have the memory of it. But then you can choose what you want to access instead of being overwhelmed with the information. So some people can literally go into the light and experience that. But again, the story we tell ourselves and what we're going to believe in is what we're going to get. And every possibility out there is real and it exists, and can't diss it, can't say it's not true, but can't say it's the real truth, because for everyone it's going to be what they're going to get. As in, what they believe in is what they're going to get. True is saying, hi Philip, do you have any thoughts concerning the clinical destruction of civilization known as the plasma apocalypse that J. Dreamers notes is represented in so many sci-fi movies and anime? Specifically about the plasma apocalypse, haven't read anything lately. Clinical destruction, that would be more like, if I would just look at your, like comment, I would just look at what's going on lately with, the slowest thing, food. What we eat is constantly being poisoned with all the chemicals. Any kind of product you pick up for skincare, most of them have propylene glycol and other things that will end up causing cancer. And, like, hey, you're just like more open to possible diseases. And then we take little medications and they have side effects. And then we take other things. And so tons of things that can happen in our daily lives slowly that will build up to, people having issues with fertility or health or, heart and everything else. So, yeah, I would go into that. But wait, I think I read your comment wrong. Wrong, not clinical, it's cyclical? Wait, I don't know. Yeah. No, I have not looked into that. I have not looked into that. Let's see. Okay, cyclical. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Cyclical, the word is used to describe things that are regularly patterned or that occur in regular intervals. Okay, so cyclical destruction of civilization known as the plasma apocalypse. Better, okay. That changes the whole subject. Thank you. Yeah. Um, that phenomenon I've heard of. It's like not too much. I haven't done too much research, but there's this person, and I'll probably ask his name of Rich. But this guy has been studying history, archaeology, and everything else, and he can show that, like, and proof, like, cause like, let's say he has degrees, he did his research hardcore, as much as possible, evidence and everything else, and he can argue about how this world works, because he explains reality and spiritual stuff from his point of view of doing the archaeological studies and looking into the history of what's being told to us with the evidence of, let's say, 10 people in Greece have seen certain event and they all wrote their point of view. So he has 10 people in Greece telling about certain event, and then there are officials from another country telling about what this is the story of what happened. So he would basically try to collect as many possible clues and data and information and factual, stuff that would show there are a bunch of different sources talking about the same thing. What do they have in common? And what is the official story told to us? And I believe he does talk about his cyclical destruction, where constantly there's this same old thing happening again and again and again in the way of destroying the world or civilizations and everything else. That would be, I have heard of something similar like that. I'm gonna have to get his name later and, maybe even like talk about him in some of the videos in the future. That would be great. But for now, this is just like us, touching the surface again. So there. Anyway, people, lots of questions, lots more to answer and everything else. But for tonight, I'll be wrapping it up. So again, everyone, thank you for watching. I'm saving a lot of your comments on what you've talked about in the other part of the chat so that maybe I can make future videos. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, for watching. Like, I'm just like amazed that, after all this time, you all still tune in and listen to me babble about my perspective of how things are. So I appreciate you leaving comments, sharing, what you're looking into, what are your interests, what's your point of view. I'm always up for learning something more. So if you feel like I should look into something, maybe change my point of view, maybe I can learn from certain, sources, feel free to send me an email and, maybe spam me a few times, because like not everything gets through or it gets into the spam box and all. So a lot of little things there. But again, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Like, it just always feels amazing to know that, like, all this time I've been on YouTube, I have a community that I can talk to freely. You inspire me, you help me to get better, and I just hope that I can do my best to learn and to bring more value into your life. So